Hey, what's going on, everyone? We have Nick here with me. We don't have Steven. He's not in today, but there's been a lot that's gone on in our personal lives that kind of interfered a little bit for all of us to be in one podcast group.
Yeah, and I know we're having some technical difficulties with the camera on my end. So I'll just do a voiceover for today. But
3 balls, 2 strikes, pressure is on. This is where we discuss real estate, property improvement, and business. Together, we'll strategize on how to win. Welcome to the Full Count. And Nick, if you can kind of just update us on what you've been up to as of late.
So past couple months, been traveling a lot. I know I was out there for your wedding, right?
Yeah, yep.
Back in end of March.
End of March.
Yeah, exactly. And that was fun. That was a good time. Went to Vegas.
It was a great time, and we had Steven there too. A small wedding that I had, but yeah, it was a good time having you there and getting the group together.
Yeah, we do got to post some of the pictures and videos that we took.
I think I'm going to do that. I think I definitely will.
Especially the one with the revolving camera.
I'm really glad I got married, and things have been good. Have been good for me, and I think it definitely puts me on a path of wanting to excel further in business and real estate. At least it puts the fire under my feet per se.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Now you got a wife you got to take care of, and maybe some little one sometime in the near future, right?
Who knows? But it was a good time. And you said you've been traveling now, right? What's going on with that?
Yeah, well, I was out in LA for almost 3 weeks. Well, Southern California, West Coast. Right. So got to go out and see LA a bit, and it's definitely a different feel. That it has 100%. That West Coast vibe. And definitely different type of personality.
Didn't you share with me the Instagram account of some comedian of some sort? He's like wearing a Yankee hat and then a Dodger hat, and he shows the differences. We should put that up there as well.
I think it's hilarious. Blake Sketch Comedy. Yeah, he does a lot of impersonations. So he has one where his cousin comes and visits from LA, and he has the New York cousin.
Right.
Basically telling the LA cousin, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
what do you say? You want to grab a slice or something? A slice? Like an avocado toast? What do you say we hit my favorite lunch spot? Gluten-free, non-GMO, great comfort food. I don't know what the fuck you just said to me. They got burgers there? Veggie burgers? Since when did you start talking like this, by the way? Talking like what? Why does it feel like every person we pass on the street here is looking at me, huh? They're probably wondering if you're a celebrity. Yeah, well, I'm clearly not, so they can go fuck themselves. Mind your business, thank you very much. I'm walking here. We look at someone twice on the street in New York and we got a problem. Everyone's too worried about what other people are doing here. Welcome to LA.
Yeah. The people in the East Coast are a bit more blunt, to the point, in a rush.
Yeah.
Objective more so than people out here in the West Coast, at least for Los Angeles, in my opinion.
Exactly. So but yeah, so I was out there in LA and went to Santa Monica a little bit, and then came back, was back in Boston for about a week, and then went down to Florida. Was there for just about 2 weeks for another friend's wedding, actually, which was nice.
A lot of weddings this summer.
Yeah, a number of them. And apparently, so where I grew up is Port St. Lucie, Florida, and there's not, it's not very big. It's definitely built up a lot since obviously my parents moved down, but there's not many places to get married there. So majority of my friends have gotten married at this same place, which is called The Barn, and it's literally a barn. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but
like a nice barn though, right? Like a modern barn. I've seen a ton of pictures of barn settings and things like that.
Yeah, it's basically, I mean, it's a huge barn that is more or less cleared out, and they just have tables, and you get catering that comes in, and they have an area for a dance floor.
It's
nice.
Weddings are a huge expense, by the way.
It is.
People have to save up so much money. You know how people save up money for a down payment on a house or a vehicle being the first thing they probably buy? Weddings are another level of expense and stress and all that come with it. So I'm sure your friend and your previous friends that got married at the barn have, in Port St. Lucie have gone through tremendous amount of stress. But once it's over, the experience of that day is amazing, but once it's over, it feels so good. Like all these weights are off your shoulder, and then you can focus on building your momentum in your career again and real estate portfolio, to say the
Right.
least.
Yeah, it's nice. So I was down there for about 2 weeks. Then I went over to Tampa to see my brother. Was there for about a week. Been looking at actually real estate there, both potentially to buy and then, if I can't find anything to buy, to rent for now.
Right.
And I mean, just one comment on the rents is they've just skyrocketed. I mean, if you're looking at any city, even down in Florida, it's comparable to here in Boston. I'm looking at 2 beds and it's give or take just around 3,000, whether I'm here in Boston or if I'm, say, down there in Tampa looking.
Right.
Obviously on the outskirts, it's obviously less than that. But if you're looking to be, closer to the city, then it's more or less the same.
Nationwide, though, I think rent has softened a bit, but I don't know about
Mhm,
Tampa market in terms of rent. You're
a
saying it's
little bit.
still increasing or at least leveling off?
Um, I think leveling off, because I actually just got an email notification from one of the
Mm.
apartment complexes I looked at while I was down there, and this was at the end of April, that they had actually decreased their prices.
There you
So
go,
the
man.
average
That's good.
was,
It's helping people.
yeah, the average was for this one place at least was just about 3,000, right? And they decreased it to about 2,700 average from what I
Wow.
see. So I mean that's definitely a
That's a
positive.
good difference.
Exactly, exactly. But I mean it's nowhere near as cheap as it used to be.
Right,
Right?
but that's just because of the population dispersing out to other more affordable areas.
Of
Not
course.
saying Tampa's affordable, but it's slightly more affordable than places like California or New York and things like
Right.
that.
What is
Um,
probably more affordable there, I mean, and specifically, I've been looking at multifamily places, mainly
in,
duplexes, to see if
in
I can
Tampa.
find in Tampa. Yep.
Okay. What is
Um,
a like a small multifamily building that you're looking at? What are you seeing like the price ranges of something like that?
yeah, I mean, depending on how much work it needs and the area that it's in, I would say I'm seeing like an average of just about 600K.
Wow,
Um,
that's pretty good.
but I found, I
That's
mean,
actually very good. What am I talking about? Are you
it is.
serious?
No, it is, and I mean that's just the average, right? Obviously, less than that, you're gonna need more renovations. It's in not a great area, you might get renters, but it might be in an area where it's a little bit more up and coming and being maybe gentrified,
You're
right?
talking about Tampa in
Tampa
general right now, right?
in
Okay.
general, yeah.
Yeah,
So
out
I
here
mean,
in
for
LA, you're
those,
looking at an okay area, decent but not phenomenal in terms of location, but okay, you're probably looking at more than double that.
right?
So anywhere from 1.3 to even 2 million for a
Oh, of
small
course,
multifamily.
yeah. I mean, that's
Rundown too, some of them.
yeah, 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 exactly. I mean, comparing to LA to, places like Tampa, that's just apples to oranges, right?
Right, right.
So, but I mean, I have seen that the multifamily, there are better deals for multifamilies in Tampa than from where, other places that I have looked.
Well, good.
So
So
I've been looking around for
you're
that.
looking to buy then something.
Yeah, yeah, potentially. I mean, ideally, if I could find something in an area, that I would want to live in, that's more or less redone for the most part, where I don't have to do too much work, then that way I can move in sooner rather than later. So,
Right.
but I mean, as of right now, it's looking like um, I'm probably going to end up renting wherever I go
Hmm.
for a little while.
Yeah, because
Um,
you just bought something somewhere in Florida not too long ago, right? Beginning of this year.
yeah, yeah. So beginning of
Okay.
this year, me and my buddy Jared, who we
Right.
had on the podcast,
Yeah.
um, him and I went in partners on a deal in Gainesville, since he has as we spoke about, he has a number of
Right.
short-term and
Investment.
long-term rental properties in
Hmm.
Gainesville, Florida, right where University of Florida is. So we found a deal where the numbers worked, and we ended up going halvesies together, and it's doing well. Um, it cost us a little bit more than we expected on the initial investment, right? So my share of the profits kind of been being used to pay that off. For
That,
now, coming out of pocket, but
yeah, that's
it's
good though, dude. I mean, the fact that you bought something, now you own something, and now you're
right,
renting it, and now you're gonna be a renter again. But
right.
you save and then you buy, and that's just how it works. That's kind of what happened with me here. I bought a place in 2021. I rented it out a few months ago, and now I'm breaking even and making just a very little bit above
Mhm.
the break even point. But long term, it's good. So renting now, as you can see, I have a new office behind me, a new wall. I mean, so a little bit different than that green wall I had, but new location. I like it. Saving up for my next purchase though, and I'm kind of debating whether it'll be another single family home or it should be an actual multifamily building. If it
Right.
is, it might be out of California potentially if I'm trying to get something sooner than later, just because prices out here are just crazy.
Mhm.
Somewhere else, I could probably get a 30 to 50% less. But if I want to really build my wealth in California, or at least try to, I'll probably end up buying here.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I do like you have everything set up. I actually like this room and this background better
You like
than
this
the other one.
better?
Yeah, I thought
Oh, good. Good to hear.
I thought I was gonna miss the other background, but I like this better. And
Yeah,
obviously,
the
it's
other one was
better
the
than
other one was
mine.
more formal, which is cool. I love
Yeah,
the formal aspect of it, the professionalism. But this is more me in a way, right? So I got golf
right.
behind me, the American flag, of pop art with JFK among other Babe Ruth and some other people. I think Jackie Robinson.
Hmm.
So yeah, this fits me a little bit better. And I think you can see Batman behind me too.
Yeah,
So it's a pop art with the globe. So it's kind of cool.
yeah. That actually, you describing all those items reminds me that we should actually do a podcast around collectibles and like valuing of collectibles. Maybe
Sure.
even have Sonny come on and talk about how he does
Yeah,
his
my
sports
brother-in-law.
memorabilia. Yeah, yeah.
That would be good because I actually have been to a few events and then at my local gym too. I saw
Hmm.
that they have these displays of where it's like a raffle, not a raffle, but you put down how much you're willing to buy a specific memorabilia item that's
Hmm.
signed, and then people have a list to go further down the line of who's willing to pay more and more. It's kind of fun and exciting.
Yeah, there's so many ways to do it nowadays. I mean, there's like Sonny
That's the
does
old school way.
with yeah, that's the old school way, right? But I mean, now once you have something graded, for example, if it's a card or whatnot,
Hmm.
and then you could have box opening revealings, and people buy memberships maybe into that reveal. So there's a number of ways to kind of
Speaking
monetize
of
it.
which, I have a 9.8 rating on the Spider-Man comic book behind me.
Oh,
It's
really?
yeah, yeah. So you're right. There, people grade them.
Yeah.
The higher the rating is, obviously, the better. But that also just means you can't really touch it or look at it too much. It's really
Right.
just there for display and in some ways investment purposes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
yeah,
actually have to get so me and my brother have Mickey Mantle rookie cards, so two of them. They're
really, are they?
touched
Do
by
you know how
by
much they're
timid
worth?
hands. Oh, so that's what I was just getting to is that I have to get them graded and appraised.
Wow,
So
you
they're
better
in the
go with someone that's
75,000.
super legit, dude.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then we also have a Babe Ruth card. It's not a rookie card, and it has been touched, so it's not extremely new, but have that, and I need to get that graded as well.
Yeah, that'd be
So,
good.
but yeah, we
Maybe
should
that'll be
definitely
your
have
down payment for a future real estate investment.
a. Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Maybe
If I need
if
it.
it's a good card.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. But we should definitely have Sunny on and talk about that for one of the episodes for sure.
Yeah. Hey,
But
I wanted to update some people in regards to the real estate market, more so for agents that may be
yeah,
watching or people that might be interested in becoming a realtor. I was at an office meeting with one of my managers, and he was explaining a quote from a CEO. I think it's called Curator, but basically it goes something like, there's projected to be 4.5 million homes for sale, sale number of homes in the United States at 4.5 million, which is equivalent to 2012. There was 4.5 million homes that sold, right? But there was 999,000 realtors across the nation in 2012. Now it's jumped 60%. So now there's 100, I'm sorry, not 100, 1.6 million realtors in in the United States. So that's a lot of people all fighting for a small amount of clients. So there's a lot of misery at the Hunger Games in real estate. So realtors are really suffering right now. So if you see a realtor, go give him a hug because he's probably having a hard time. I know for me, it's been difficult. But at the same time, when you provide value to clients, I think they're really able to see that and then utilize you as an agent.
Yeah. And I know you posted something, I don't know, not too long ago, right? About new real estate agents that came in during COVID thinking it was easy.
Right.
But you actually have to sometimes get down and grind, to make your way.
Right. I mean, I think people in maybe 2020, early 2021 that became agents, they got to see, all the flashy things about being an agent. Maybe they saw the selling sunset shows or other things like that. But, clients don't come to you necessarily. For the most part, that's just not how it works. You got to go out, hunt, and provide the value and things like that. But one of the posts that I think you're referring to too was by Tom Ferry. He said, he's a business coach for realtors primarily, but he was saying that already since January till May of 2023, even though we're at the end of June now, 60,000 agents have already quit. So that's a good amount. And that kind of, in a way makes me happy because there's less competition. But at the same time, the people that are left over that are realtors, they're the ones that have been in it probably for a while or are really out there providing value to other people buying and selling.
Yeah. That, so when they got in, it was easy, but now,
Now it's hard.
things
Yeah.
are starting
Now
to
people are
change.
really suffering.
Yeah.
So I feel for them, but it is what it is. Did you by chance see the last episode that I did? You unfortunately couldn't be on it at that time.
Mhm.
Neither could Steven, but I interviewed a city council member in Costa Mesa in Orange County, California.
Yeah. Yeah. What part what are you referencing there exactly?
What I'm referencing is it's so important as a resident of whatever community you belong to really pay attention to local politics because it can really affect your investment, your livelihood, and things like that. So he was talking about homelessness and how Costa Mesa and Newport Beach were able to partner and help provide beds for homeless people essentially. And if there was any beds available and there's someone out on the street, the police officer, whoever it may be, can send them out to that area to actually sleep in the bed because there's no excuses. So that's a good way of governing is what I got to come around to see. What's not good governing is what I saw here in LA. I think you may have heard of Measure ULA that passed April 1st of 2023, if I'm not mistaken. I think we talked about it. Maybe we didn't. Do you recall?
No, remind everybody.
Essentially, homes in Los Angeles, city of Los Angeles, if a home is selling for $5 million and above, you're getting or $5 million to $9,999,000. They're charging 4% tax on top of that sale price. If you're selling a $10 million home and up, you're getting taxed. I think it's 5.5%. And the reason why that's such a big deal is a $5 million home that sold prior to April 1st was paying about $28,000 in total to city and state taxes or county taxes. Now people are paying $228,000 if you sell a $5 million home. So the significance is about $200,000. It's insane, right?
Yeah, that is
absolutely insane to fight homelessness. And although there's a homeless problem here in LA, things are just not getting fixed. I feel like, in my opinion, a lot of local politicians just want to keep, having money funneled to them to solve the problem. But who knows where that money's really going. So it's definitely put a halt in LA as of since April. For April and May of this year, there's been zero sales in a zip code that I work in Hollywood Hills. There's been zero sales, 5 million and up. In 2022 of April and 2022 of May, there was 3 to 4 in each month. So there's definitely been a scare for a lot of homeowners not wanting to sell. So if you've seen out there, there's people are staying in place because of their mortgage rates are so low. Well, in the city of Los Angeles, if your home is worth 5 million and more, those people are wanting to stay in place too. So it's really, really kind of sad what's going on. But that's why I think it's important to stay involved in local politics and really kind of know what's out there, because this ordinance passed by 58% of people voted for it without really, in some ways, understanding what it's really about.
Oh wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of unfortunate. I mean, I was very surprised, to be honest, at how many more homeless people there were when I was there, this last time for your wedding than,
Right.
2 years prior. Um, I mean, there in LA, yes, but
San
even
Diego
more
too.
so in San Diego. Yeah, it's insane how many homeless people, were there. And I mean, I noticed a significant increase for sure.
Right. And we all feel bad, right? I mean, there's definitely a way to help solve this and help people get off the street, but
Right.
there's more complexities to it than what a lot of these people are trying to do with policy that it's clearly not working. So there needs to be
Right.
some other form of solving this. But yeah, it
Yeah.
just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. But not only are the residents seeing this and having to live with this, and their children having to see this, but at the same time, homeowners are having to pay more now, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
when they sell, anyways. So that's just ridiculous. And for those that are watching, that might be in another area where it's not as expensive. $5 million homes, for the most part, is I mean, obviously it's very expensive, and those people are semi wealthy. But in the end of the day, it trickles down and screws up the market for other people as well.
Right. Right. Exactly. Yep. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
kind of almost a lose-lose situation.
Right,
But
right. But
we
on the
hope
good
they get
news,
better.
CPI is coming down, right? I think
Yeah.
May 2023 CPI was 4%, and the core CPI was 5.3%. So CPI is coming down, inflation is coming down. Although that
Slightly.
figure isn't exactly reflecting the reality of other goods and items that people have to pay for, but at least in the macro terms, things are improving a bit.
Yeah. Do you want to mention anything about some of the bank collapses and JP Morgan Chase's
JP Morgan Chase
acquiring them?
definitely, bought some of these banks out. SVB, what's
Mhm.
the other one? Old Republic, First Republic.
First Republic.
Um,
Then
yeah,
even
it's
further back, it was the
definitely,
Silicon Valley Bank.
yeah, it's definitely affected the market and the economy, but it also kind of, before, I think that was around March and April, right? The mortgage interest rate market, we were floating around 7% or higher interest rates, but once this happened, it kind of brought mortgage interest rates down a bit, and it's definitely helped the real estate market. So even though there was some bad light to it, there was some light at the end of the tunnel for mortgage interest rates.
Mhm. Mhm. Where or how much do you see mortgage interest rates being affected by what's been going on now?
In terms of inflation coming down and the
Well,
Fed.
yeah, inflation coming down, these, bank collapses.
Well, it's projected that the mortgage rates, I mean, nobody knows, but it's projected mortgage rates are going to remain at low sixes or very high 5% range, 5.8 and up. So that's good news for people, because we were, again, as I was saying earlier, in the 7% range or a little bit higher. So
Mhm.
that's good. I mean, it's bringing back more people back into the market. The only problem is there's still an inventory shortage and things like that. So I think it's going to still be pretty competitive overall. I don't see that changing too much,
Right.
especially with the Fed kind of saying, now that they paused, increasing Fed funds rate for June, they're saying that they might raise it 2 more times after that June meeting by the end of this year. So
Yeah.
that gives people an inclination that he's being a little bit dovish in a way, that he's not going to end up raising Fed funds rate.
Right.
So that's helpful.
What's your take on the debt increases?
On the what?
That's the increase in the debt ceiling.
I think that's just going to continue happening as years go by. Everybody has a concern about it. I think it's a major
Yeah.
concern, but I think at the end of the day, the government's going to keep raising that ceiling until something horrible happens. So when there's all this drama going on with the debt ceiling, I kind of don't even pay attention anymore, just because they're probably just going to raise it anyways. Although, you know, when I say I don't have a concern, right, staying up to date with it, obviously
Right.
that's a concern. But at the end of the day, I'm still trying to do my best to have commodities or some type of assets to keep me afloat in case something really bad happens. So that's my whole perspective. What about you, though?
Yeah, I mean, well, there's a lot of, or a number of people and experts in that space that I have seen have major concerns about it, and basically it be the starting point of the US no longer becoming the world
Reserve currency.
superpower, right? And the reserve
Right.
currency. Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. So there's big concerns there. Um, if anybody listens to the Impact Theory podcast with Tom Bayou, he's had a number of guests on that talked about this, and with varying, obviously, opinions. One of them being, very devastating
Right.
opinions.
No, it
Others
can
being
be
more positive, but
like an
um,
Armageddon in a
yeah,
way.
exactly. If
Yeah.
anybody's interested in that, I would recommend going to Tom Bayou's and the Impact Theories, either YouTube site or podcast, and listening to some of those.
I think he had Ray Dalio, Peter Schiff, among other people that talked
Right.
about that.
Exactly.
How you need to have, consider what other currency might be the reserve currency, but, the central bank digital currency might be a thing too. So nobody really knows. And then gold and silver, other commodities that might be good. And then there's the other experts that say Bitcoin, right? So
Right.
it's hard to say what the true case is, but I don't know. I try not to think about that too much. Besides, I know that in real estate, if you own real estate, there's obviously a shortage right now. You have good tenants that are paying you and paying off your mortgage. That's good. And eventually you're going to get passive income. So I think that's kind of like the best way to protect yourself. One of many avenues to do that anyway. So
Right.
real estate, I think, is the way to go.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not only talking about this and advocating that because we're associated with real estate, but I mean, if, any of you do your due diligence, I'm sure you'll see more or less the same for those that are involved in real estate, right? But as far as, so I mean, I know we started to talk a little bit on the international aspect, right? So one of the other things that I've been looking at is real estate, as we know, for a number of years now in Italy, right? Specifically in Rome.
Right.
But over the past few months, I had started looking again and realized
you're always looking, dude. You're always looking out
I
there. I want you to buy something so I can go visit it.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to buy something from afar. So I think what I might
100%.
do come moving time is just go there, move there, rent a place, and then look while I'm there, right? So I could find what I want because I have a pretty good idea of what I'm looking for, right? So, but anyway, over the past few months, the mortgage interest rates have gone up significantly. So before it was like between 1% and 2%. Now they've gone up to almost 4.5%. I think.
Wow.
I'll look up the.
So it's gone up double, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
In Italy, mortgage rates in a matter of what time period? Like a year, 2 years, or what?
I mean, just over the past few months.
Wow.
Yeah, all of a sudden, and I'm not sure. I haven't had a chance to look into exactly why, but I mean, they've gotten a new, prime minister who I think we might have mentioned before that people have concerns about because she has ties to like Mussolini and Mussolini's party. But
besides that little snippet of what people want to cause issue with her, what else is there really that's causing an issue with the prime minister?
I mean, I think just overall global inflation. Oh, with the prime minister or the interest rates?
No, because you mentioned the prime minister being tied to a family background with Mussolini, but just because your past relative might have been someone horrible, or that, especially that person was, yes, but doesn't mean that this prime minister is going to be similar to him, is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, I mean, not only for that reason, but mainly because of the party lines, the ideology. Right?
I thought you liked the prime minister, Nick.
People had concerns. No, that was that was Berlusconi.
That's funny.
And Berlusconi, I'm pretty sure he just passed, actually. Unfortunately, so.
Well, let me throw something out there though.
Let me fact check that, but just one thing on the interest
the mortgage rates though. Why it happened though? It's The
Yeah,
reason being
well,
is
hold on.
probably
Just to give people a perspective. So
what's the
the
perspective?
value from last month, it's at 4.23%, right? Change from last month, 1.89%. It's almost 2%. Value from 1 year ago, 3%. So there's been a significant change just over the
So there's
past
been a lot of
18
ups and
months.
so you're saying a year ago was in the 3%, a month ago was a one some percent, and now it's in the 4%.
Right, correct. It's
That's
like four and a
crazy.
quarter.
Yeah, I don't know much about how mortgage rates work in Italy though. So
Yeah, I
if you
mean, I
know,
think just we would have to look more into this, but I'm pretty sure the global economy, global inflation, I mean, they've always been
right,
highly inflated, but I think it's just globally it's catching up uh, to them. But I think that there's also other things that's going on with the EU,
right.
especially as it relates to climate change and carbon.
Well, I think what it really is because like the U.S. is benefiting in a way right now in terms of inflation is coming down to some degree, as we had mentioned earlier. Um, but that's not to say the world economy, all these other countries are actually still facing inflation issues. I think the Bank of England even said that the central bank chairperson there, I don't know if it's a woman or man, but either way, they said they're probably going to keep raising rates to fight inflation. I think probably Italy's facing that same issue right now as well, especially with the immigration situation they have as well. That's all causing inflation in other countries more than here. So that's probably why the mortgage rate has been crazy out in Italy, is my imagination of what's probably going on. So that's too bad. So maybe you should probably call a realtor and see what their perspective is in Italy. See when you should probably buy, because I don't know if it's affected home prices out there. Have you noticed?
No, it has. I mean, the prices have been increasing, over the past few years, obviously, but I
Right.
think they, I would say over the past year, from where I've been looking in the middle of Rome, I mean, I see at least over the past 2, 3 years, I see a difference of give or take maybe an average of 100K.
An increase?
Increase, yeah. So things that were like, mid
Mhm.
300s before are now mid 400s or above.
Wow.
And probably over
Yeah.
the past year, maybe, I don't know, I would say maybe a 20%, 10 to 20% increase at the least.
Wow. Yeah.
So,
Oh, you know what I was gonna say too? The inflation probably it's the situation with the Ukraine war as well. I mean, that's causing a lot of
yes,
commodities out in Europe to freaking skyrocket. It's not really affecting the U.S. as much, considering many things.
right, right, exactly. Because um, the gas prices there are highly being affected, which affects everything else,
Right.
right?
Right.
Because they're shutting down the pipeline supply of both,
Hmm.
you know, gasoline and natural gas.
Right.
So it's definitely affects things for sure. I don't know. Let me see if are you able to see my screen?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Wanted to see if that might work, but
But we should do this again,
oh,
and
here we go.
maybe you can talk to Italian realtor out there and see what they might have to tell you about prices out there, because that might be a place to escape to. Especially like you said, if the deficit keeps growing and all things like that, maybe some people may want to go to Italy. I mean, it sounds like you will.
Yeah,
Something
yeah,
happen.
true.
So we should get some ideas on how real estate's affected in Italy per se with what's going on right now. If home prices will probably fall or not. But when I was in the Amalfi Coast for my honeymoon, I was
Yeah,
talking
I
to
was gonna ask you.
some of the guys out there, the bartenders and the drivers, and they were telling me that the prices are going up. So I think it's kind of to what you're saying about Rome.
Mhm. I mean, everywhere. I mean, see, before COVID, right? Not as many people could work remotely. It was harder to actually buy in places like that and find a stable job, right? Nowadays, everybody's able to more or less work remotely, if you're doing one thing or another. And there's a million different ways to make money online now, start your own online
Mhm.
business, remote business, right? So that has definitely had an impact on prices and availability there for sure. because I mean, how many people's dream is it to go own a house in Italy, right? So
Right.
I do know a Italian realtor who's been doing this a long time. She actually moved from Australia, and she's created a whole community around this. But um, her her business, from what I've seen, is booming. I mean, things just go off the market so quickly now.
Right. Well, a
So
lot of international people are buying their second and third home out there too.
yeah, right. But it doesn't even have to be their second or third home, right?
Right.
People could just more easily up and move now than ever before in the history of
Yeah.
humanity, civilization,
Right.
really.
But at the same time, there's a lot of well, not all, but there's a lot of jobs that are requiring people to come into the office now. So it's not like people can work from home all the time. I
Some,
mean,
yeah,
some
yeah,
jobs
yeah.
you can.
Yeah, I would say okay, before maybe it was 80, maybe 90%, right, of people and jobs that you can't work remotely. Now, I would say maybe 40%,
I think it's
and
less.
there's so many ways to make a living online now. I mean, whether it's like
Right.
affiliate and digital marketing, creating your own online business, being a coach for this,
Hmm.
coach for that, right? I mean,
But that's having multiple jobs, not just one job. Like you
no,
gotta.
no, that's doing that full time.
Yeah, but no, I get that. But for the overall people in the US, they're not doing that. I mean, yes, there's a
Mm,
lot, but it's easier said than done is my point.
I Yeah, I mean, anything requires work, but there's so many
Yeah,
more people doing it now. I mean, I know you're not plugged into that space because, you just focus on your real estate business,
right,
right? But
right. And then the other
if
thing we're
anybody does
doing,
their due diligence and research, you'll see there's there's a huge population doing this now.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But,
I
but
I
I mean,
wanna see you start doing it though, Nick, come on. I know
no,
you're
I know,
doing it
I
on
know.
the side.
That's
Now you gotta
exactly
make
what
it full time.
that's exactly what I've been working. I actually just started an affiliate and digital marketing course
No way.
to
Is that
get
with
sped up. Yeah,
uh-huh.
so we'll see. Might start creating some additional content on my end.
Good.
But we'll see. There's a lot of pans in the fire that I have, because Varsh and I, so our other friend,
Mhm.
also working on two biotech startups, and one of them is starting to really ramp up. So hopefully we'll be rolling
Wow.
on our first pilot client pretty soon. Um, so that's also taking quite a bit of time outside of my full time job as well. So, but we'll
Just don't
see.
let your job hear this podcast so I don't want them knowing that you're planning on exiting, you know?
Yeah,
Gotta make sure they don't watch this.
yeah, yeah. No, no, no exit, no exit. That's obviously on the side gig.
Right.
Um, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Like I said, a lot of pans in the fire.
Yeah,
Um,
and I wanna just talk to everyone watching or listening. If you have any questions for us, anything particular you want us to hit up or talk about, please go ahead and leave a comment or message us. But primarily, comments are probably the best way to go, and we'll interact with you. We've done that in the past with some people, so please do that. Give it a like and subscribe to the Apple Podcast and our YouTube channel. All right,
yeah.
Nick, I think that's a wrap for today.
Okay, great. Sounds good. We'll see you on the next one.
All right, and hopefully we get Steven here. We got to get him in. He's been
Yeah.
traveling all over I think the U.S. right now with some baseball coaching, but he's also out there on the field doing contract work as a contractor. So hopefully we can bring him in. All right,
Right.
we'll talk to you all soon.
Take care.
Bye.